Welcome to the Data Literacy Show, the podcast that helps you build, measure, and level up your data and AI literacy. I'm Alli Torban, Senior Data Literacy Advocate here at Data Literacy.
And I'm Ben Jones, co-founder and CEO of Data Literacy. Today, we're talking about something a little different. It's something brand new we've been building this year. It's something we've wanted to do it for a long time now. And we've launched it. It's a platform. It's at Data Freelancers, datafreelancers.com. And what it is a curated, highly vetted marketplace where companies can finally find trusted and vetted data and AI experts.
Yeah. I don't want to say it's like Upwork and Fiverr, but just so people understand kind of the realm of it, it kind of is, but it's specifically for data and AI projects, but actually done right because it's built by people who actually know the data space. So
Yeah.
we wanted to share the kinds of expertise you can tap into on datafreelancers.com and also share some intel on what the process is like when you get working with a data freelancer. So Ben, datafreelancers.com is actually your brainchild. So
Yeah.
why did you feel like this finally needed to be built and launched?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, so Becky and I were kayaking one day in 2020, and we were seeing all this chaos. It was March or April, so COVID had just hit. And we were chatting to ourselves about kind of what we were noticing, which is a lot of people kind of out of work or
Mhm.
needing to be at home and not really sure how they were going to be able to support their families. So this is sort of where the idea hatched. So we bought datafreelancers.com, the domain, and then we just got so busy with the data literacy training company that we kind of moved away from it. But in the back of my mind, I always thought to myself, I really want to do this. So, and the reason is because, going back even to the beginning of my career in the data world, so a quarter of a century now, I just keep seeing the same thing pop up. There's this frustrating coin, two sides to it. On the one side, you've got these really talented data professionals and they want to do extra side projects, but they don't always know how to put their name out there and where
Yeah.
to find good work.
Hmm.
On the other side of that coin, you've got the client or the company. They're trying to find really trusted, reliable, qualified help. But they don't always know how to make that happen, right? So especially what we've seen lately in 2025. Well, layoffs hitting some really talented
Yeah.
folks in the tech world, in the public sector. We also know that with all this hype with AI, well, some organizations are cutting back on the very human expertise they need, now more than ever.
Hmm. Yeah. And when the companies actually do try to find a freelancer or consultant to help them, they go to these massive freelance platforms and they got to wade through all this stuff like designing a logo, making a website, social media, trying to find the people who actually do have expertise in data. And even if you do find someone who says they have expertise in data, you really are just hoping and praying that the reviews are not fake and this is someone who actually knows what they're doing.
Right. I mean, a lot of imposters on those sites. I mean, there's outright fraud and money
Mm,
laundering, even. I mean, you get the size and scale of some of those platforms, and it's just sort of a bit of a mess. I
yeah.
mean, you also have a situation where, you really just kind of aren't sure, like you were mentioning, kind of if they know their stuff or not. And then, of course, like you said, logos. Well, can you imagine trying to create a platform that handles all of these different kinds of projects, so many different potential projects, writing an ebook for you, doing some Google ads for you. I mean, it's like the whole breadth of professional work. So
Right.
it's trying to do too much, I think, for data people. So with data people, they find it just kind of doesn't meet their needs. And then with the size and scale, you get a pricing disaster.
Yeah.
So, you can go on there and sure, you can find something, maybe someone will make you a dashboard for 20 bucks or 50 bucks, but
Hmm.
how good is that going to be? We had a client come to us last year. This is part of why I wanted to come back to this project because a client came to us and said, well, we had a client, they were doing work for us at $20 an hour, and it's just terrible. We have to have it all redone. So they came to us and we redid it all for them. We built a bunch of Tableau dashboards for their clinical trial, and it went really, really well, and we charged a reasonable rate. So the point is, you kind of get what you pay for. And so many people maybe have learned the hard way
Yeah.
that if they
People know that
tried,
though.
yeah,
People know. You get what you pay for, but you're just hoping that
I
maybe
know,
I can get
right?
away with it.
You think, oh, let me just try it. I mean, all I have to do is spend a small amount of money, and who knows,
Hmm.
maybe it'll be great.
Yeah.
So over and over again, people find out, okay, that sort of didn't work.
Yeah.
So, then they come to the place where they say, okay, let's get people who know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And so what
Vetted.
do we do? Right. So you got to vet these people. So we have a very large network. I've been really thankful over the course of my career by working with great companies and some of our clients that I've been able to build out a pretty awesome network of true pros. So I reached
Hmm.
out to all of them. Hey, who's interested in taking on freelance or consulting projects? I met with many of them one on one.
Hmm.
We went through a pretty rigorous vetting process. And so I really just want to make sure they don't just know their stuff, but they are good at communicating. They're, good to work with.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's a big part of it as well. You don't want an expert who's just going to, kind of really kind of botch the communication with the client. So
Yeah.
anyway, that's what we've been starting to kind of pull together, right?
Yeah, the communication piece is so huge. And I don't think clients really realize how important it is until maybe they're halfway through a project and it's going off the rails and they're like, did
Yeah.
these people just ghost me? Or they're not
Yeah.
giving me a status update, or where are we on this project? What is happening here?
Right.
Communication is so, so important. And I remember you and me talking about this when we were trying to figure out who should be our first people on the
Yeah.
platform. You needed to be an expert in your field, and your communication needs to be spot on, because we want
Yeah.
our clients, the clients who come to the site, to have a great experience. And we know that communication is a huge part, maybe even 50% of
Yeah.
being
It's a
a
lot.
great freelancer or consultant.
I think it is. I think it is. I would agree. And then of course, then we have the other piece too. We're building this platform. Look, we're data professionals
Hmm.
and we're building the platform for data professionals, which means we're not talking about logos. We're not talking about SEO tweaks. We're talking about data and AI projects. And so, we've been meeting personally, vetting the freelancers on the
Hmm.
platform, people we know and trust. And we're also working again, on the site itself so that it's accommodating of the kinds of topics and questions and attributes of these projects so that the freelancers can get a good sense of what they're working with up front.
Yeah.
Clients can also kind of learn what sorts of requirements they should be communicating to
Hmm.
make sure the project is spec'd properly and there aren't these kind of big surprises. There's probably going to be some of that, but we want to minimize it so that when you're in the first few weeks of the project, there's not this gotcha and you realize you're in a complete mess of a situation as a freelancer, where now all of a sudden you've got sort of a totally different sort of set of tasks on your hands than what was maybe presented to you. So we're trying to kind of identify some of those red flags and really clearly help the freelancer figure out what they need to be doing and what expertise is required so that the client is going to be happy with the way the project goes.
Yeah, that's the benefit of having people who are in this space, in the data space, creating this site in these forms, is that we
Yeah,
know what questions you should be asking so we can help you have a
exactly.
successful project.
Yep, that's
Yeah,
right.
and the first 10 freelancers that we have on the site are incredible. I think we might even
Yeah.
have 11 now. I think someone else created their
Yep.
profile, so
Yep.
it's exciting to see them trickle in.
Yeah.
We have someone, Sekou Tyler, who's basically a
Seku.
one-man
Hmm.
analytics team, amazing at Power BI,
Yeah.
Tableau. We have David Langer, who's a Microsoft MVP, teaches over 80,000 people on his YouTube channel, Dave on Data, like ML and Python and Excel. Really cool
Yep.
stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. He's great. I got to know someone named Helena Wu who reached out to us to join. She's really great at wrangling the back end Azure pipelines, but
Hmm.
also, has some of that front end data storytelling abilities too, and tools like Click. She actually is kind of funny. We were kind of chatting with her and getting to know her a bit. Turns out she's like a first place of a national powerlifting champion as well.
Wow.
So yeah, some of these people are really exceptional in more than
Yes.
one way, I'll
Hmm.
say. We've got
Hmm.
someone who's like was as high as number seven um, in in rank the world rankings in pickleball, believe it or
Hmm.
not. So these are people who are exceptional. They're
Yes.
exceptional. Eric Balash, Kim Tricker. These are Tableau visionaries, Iron Viz stars. These are the people that are really, they have the accolades and the awards to prove that they are, top notch. So, that's who you want in your corner
Hmm.
when your data project is on the line.
Yeah. And what's really cool is that in on the platform, the
Yeah.
freelancers can have different offerings that they do, maybe a small thing like
Yep.
a keynote, or maybe working one-on-one for reviewing coaching or reviewing a dashboard maybe. But then, you can, as a client, you can post a request and say, hey, I just want to, here are something that I need, a project that I need help on, like redesigning a dashboard in Tableau or Power BI, maybe building a prototype for an AI assistant, wrangling data. Maybe you
Hmm.
need to get it ready to use in a pipeline of some sort. Maybe creating a data story out of some data that you have, some insights, so that you can give it in a presentation. Or maybe you are just looking to hire someone for your internal keynote, or you're putting on a conference. There's lots of different things you can reach out to the experts for.
Yeah, really so many different kind of services, projects that we can work and help with. And actually, there's something kind of interesting we've noticed a lot, and that is that a lot of times a company is going to say, oh, here's sort of what we need help with. And when I've talked to them and kind of really look closely at what they need help with, it oftentimes involves, I would consider, probably the expertise of more than one person in terms of how people tend to specialize in the data world. Bottom line is, for the project to go really well, companies are going to need more than one expert. So we're also setting up kind of like call it like a white glove kind of concierge service where companies can come to the site, they can reach out to us, we'll sit down and talk to them, kind of figure out their needs, and then we can do something I think magical, which you can't have happen on a lot of these other online marketplace platforms, which is that we can pull together a small team, maybe two people or three people, and maybe it's got a data engineer and a visualization expert, and then maybe someone who can also help with a presentation. So we're going to try to pull together these little kind of all-star teams as well for companies. I'm working on that one of those right now with one of our first clients of the
Mm-hmm.
platform, and again realizing that we need a couple people to pull together here to really do it well. And so, again, we're going to keep it small, keep it personal, allow for that really kind of high service, high touch kind of interaction with clients to get it right for them and get the right team, the right people with the right skills and expertise to
Mm-hmm.
bring to bear to their challenges.
Right. Yeah. And if you've never worked with a freelancer or consultant before, we can give you a little bit of intel on this episode on like what the process is like. So
Yeah.
let's say you have a project on your team and you think, okay, I need to outsource this. I need to just bring an expert in to work on this one particular project. You can pop over to datafreelancers.com. You can actually search through the profiles to see who might fit your bill, because you can filter by tool or expertise or maybe a keyword, and you can contact them directly and say, hey, I have this particular project. Can we hop on a call? Or maybe they already have a service offering, like I mentioned,
Right.
that fits exactly what you need, and you can just buy that right off the shelf. That's kind of
Hmm.
nice. Just pull it off the
Hmm.
shelf.
Yeah.
Or if you have a particular project that you want to work on, you can fill out a form, and it
Yeah.
has, like you were saying earlier, Ben, it has all the things that, or most of the things anyway, that the questions you should have ready before you meet with a freelancer, so you can make sure you have all that stuff in order, like how big is the data set,
Right.
what's the final deliverable, what's your timeline, all those really important things. And
Exactly.
typically what would happen is, in a freelance project, is that you would hop on a call with the potential freelancer, would talk about the project, see if it's a good fit. If yes, then you sign some sort of contract. Maybe your company has a standard contract that needs to be signed, and then you get started on the project. And then the nice part about Data Freelancers is that we handle the payments, so that you goes into escrow. I don't know if you want to describe that, but I feel like that's a
Yeah.
really great way, a great
Yep.
offering of the site.
Yeah, it's real simple and it's pretty standard. So, the client pays up front, and then when the work is done, they both sign off on it, the
Hmm.
freelancer and the client. That releases the funds. So it simplifies that process, I think, as well for the freelancer. Invoicing and such can be sometimes challenging, I
Yeah.
think. So we're trying to smooth out that part of the process. There are probably going to be some scenarios, and I believe this is already sort of cropping up, where we need to use different kinds of, let's say, like vendor payment portals. And so we'll work again, to accommodate some of those requirements to make sure that maybe some larger enterprises can interact with the freelancers in a way that works with their supply chain and vendor rules and such. So, we'll do what it takes to get them all set up so that that part of it should be painless, right? Invoicing, paying. And so we want to make that as easy as possible. POs, credit cards. We even connect through Stripe so
Hmm.
that people can pay using kind of standard e-commerce. So lots of options. We're just trying to make sure that people have kind of whatever route is easiest for them. That, we accommodate that.
Yeah, it makes it easy on both sides because I know as a consultant, I have had times where it is hard to get paid. So
Yeah,
if
can
you
be.
are
Yeah.
listening and you're more on the freelance consultant side, you can apply
Yep.
to be a freelancer on the site too. And we hope that it helps bring in clients for you and that you have a really easy experience as the consultant as well.
Yeah, exactly. We're trying to make it so we want to grow it. I think we've got 10. We're already up to like 11. The 12th
Hmm.
person's filling it out actually as we speak. So we're going to probably be at, I think, something like 20 within the next couple weeks. I can imagine we're going to grow this out to, 100 or 200. I love Dunbar's number of 150 because it's the number of people that we can all maybe manage in terms of community. And then that's
Hmm.
a big part of it as well, that, Allie and I will be setting up and running the community with the freelancers to compare notes, to
Hmm.
have them get to know each other and share expertise and
Yeah,
such.
build our
So,
expertise. Hmm.
right, really help them up their game. So that's the idea. But because of that, we're keeping it small. That means the bar is pretty high. So, and again, that's sort of what needs to be in order for this platform to be different than maybe what's already out there. So, it's a bit exclusive, and that's typically not my style. I like to take everyone and be really open to all comers, but in this case, we're going to be a little choosy. And
Yeah.
so, by all means, please fill out a form, show us kind of your stuff and what you're great at. We're going to take a close look. And then, yeah, if it kind of meets that bar and that criteria, we'll bring you on board. And so that's for the folks that want to join as a freelancer. We're going to continue to take more of those applications. You'll find the form over on datafreelancers.com.
Hmm.
And then on the other side of it, if you're trying to get that project finished off and you're tired of messing around or you can't get the full hire requisition approved and you don't want to go the route of maybe someone who's not going to do a great job for you, then come talk to us. We'll make sure that we get you connected with the right people.
Yeah, this is a really fun and exciting venture. We're excited to connect amazing talent with amazing organizations, and we're really looking forward to getting some projects going on
Yep.
datafreelancers.com. And we hope that this was helpful for you to know that exists and how projects typically happen here on the site. So thanks for joining us on the Data Literacy Show, and subscribe to the show so you never miss an episode. See you next
Great.
time.
Thanks. Yeah. Thanks, Allie. Talk to you soon, everyone. Bye now.
Bye.